episode 46 of the Long Haul Podcast. It is the 6th of September. It's been, I think, a couple of weeks. I am Nine, your host as always, joined by my usual co-host, Carrie. How are you doing, good sir?
Doing fine. It's a very unusual date to podcast. Sundays make me sad.
Sundays make it sad. Well, I'm doing good. I'm needing a shave. But I'm gonna take care. I'm gonna take care of that right after the podcast, hopefully. If I don't get sidetracked by watching Dota because there's a big finals going on right now. But I'm doing good, man. I'm doing really good. It's kind of ironic that last week we kind of decided, yeah, let's take a break and just podcast, when stuff comes out and. Lo and behold, Valve comes out with sort of a blog post. It's not like an official playartifact.com post, but they posted like a meaty text post for the community and the community hub for the game. And there's big news for everyone. As always, when I podcast, I assume most people already know, but I think in this specific case, there's going to be a lot of people who actually don't know what was actually written in this post.
I feel it's like ask and you shall receive. I mean,
it has been a little.
Last episode, I kind of felt like, well, they haven't communicated much with us since the beginning of beta, and like you said, we were like, okay, so let's just podcast when cool stuff come out or when we feel like there's something important talking. Like 2 days after, bang, and here we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's a roller coaster, right? But I really, this is something that I've said quite a few times over the last few months and since the beta has begun is you really notice that Valve is listening, it's really impressive that often when people start complaining on the Discord or on whatever, YouTube content, Reddit and so on, you really get the impression that they're listening for the most part, and people were kind of getting down on the lack of communication, and so like what the hell is going on and so on, and slam, bam, they hit the table and say, they bump the table and say, there you go, you want some news, there you go. So
you want text,
yeah. So really good, and I think there's a lot to talk about because actually in the last 10 days or 12 days or whatever it's been, there's been like 4 actual patches/posts. It's I think beyond the scope of the podcast to talk about every single little detail when you have a lot of stuff to do. So I think we're going to focus on this big post called Under Construction and talk about some like the patch that came out on the same day. There were 2 posts on the same day. So I know that you've already read the Under Construction post. It's basically 3 or 4 paragraphs where they start off by saying that they've been listening to the feedback as we just praised, and as we know that they have been doing, regarding which areas of the game people feel that like work needs to be done right now and what kind of stuff needs to be added. I complained here that features needed to be added. And there was obviously the survey a few weeks back, and they state that we heard from the players newer to the genre that they wanted a more detailed introduction to the game in the form of a tutorial and expanded introductory campaigns. So with that information, they will say in the next paragraph that they are going to start introducing a match, or rather like they're going to start building on this tutorial feature, and they're going to integrate it better with the campaign. They say that they felt like the tutorials in 1.0 were lacking a little bit. Honestly, it's been so long that I can't even remember exactly what the tutorial for 1.0 was. I think it was like a couple of quick games with a bot, right?
The tutorial was when you launched the game, you had like those little 3-4 games that once you played them, the game warned you if you finish the tutorial, the game is not redeemable. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so that was a tutorial.
Yeah. And then later on, they added the Call to Arms event where you could play those like pre like build decks. But that was something completely separate. So basically, they say that they're gathering data as always. They're going to start this series of tutorials, and they are hoping that that the tutorials will take a similar form and flow right into the introductory campaign, quoting what they write, and they're going to keep working to improve access to tutorial information. There's already this glossary on the game that shows all the keywords and stuff, so they're gonna try to teach people how this works. And the fact is, this game is like has a lot of intrinsic and small details and a lot of interactions that are not easy to know from the get-go, which I think personally is completely fine, and because it's something cool to try in the game. But it's good to know that they're working on this, because you really want the new player experience is going to be absolutely critical in a game that failed in the way that the first version of the game did. And this time around, they cannot afford that the player comes in and thinks, what the hell is this, and leaves. So they really want to dazzle, like, you know, to really give the new player a super good experience that they want to explore more, and then form an opinion based on having a lot of hours and not have the shit show that was 1.0 where people played 20 minutes and said, what is this shit, and quit the game. So good for them. The second part of the post, which I think is actually more important, and this is something also that we've been talking about, you know, regarding the number of players and the constructed experience, is that they say that from the more experienced players that they really wanted a better way to find constructed mode games. There was this constructed chat room, which for the most part was not very full, and a lot of people didn't even know that you could play without having the cards through that chat. And so they're saying that they sat down to figure out what to do right now for players to be able to access these things, and so that they also can get the data that they need to like balance the game and move from there on. So big news of the week, number one by far, is they're introducing a matchmaking queue for constructed. So there is now...
Thank you, baby Jesus.
Yeah, this is huge, and it's going to be very interesting also to, you know, from our side with less data than Valve, to like assess what's going to go gonna happen this week or the next following weeks. So this is like a highly competitive room. Basically, you join it, and it's the same as Hero Draft, except you're gonna be playing constructed here. They say that initially player ranks and MMR, so ELO, will be shared across the constructed and the Hero Draft queues. So for now, there's not like yet the separated ranks and so on, but this will obviously need to be done in the future, but I don't think we really care about this for now. What is, I think, important to say... Yeah, exactly. It's beta, and it's not important. It will reset at some point, I presume, as well, anyway. So what is important here to say also is that they decided to go with the matchmaking parameters where you will still be matched against players with a similar tier of unlocked cards. For me, it doesn't matter anymore because I've already gotten the whole collection unlocked, so I can pretty much play full decks as I want. How do you feel about this? Is this something that you feel like should not be symmetric to draft, or what are your thoughts on this?
The only thing is, for example, if you look at other games, and this is a concern I had before, if you look at other games, pro players or people very active in games, even if they're not pros, they tend to have more than one account. And when you're like pro level and you start a new account, well, let's call it a Smurf account. Well, other games, it's inevitable, okay? And it's like you once said, if you play the game for 1-2 weeks, you get all the cards, so that's it. Other games, it doesn't work exactly like that. So yeah, I mean, using the amount of cards that you have unlocked as the gatekeeping is not something I'm very... I don't want to say I'm not happy with it. I just feel like it's kind of a weird...
You're not excited about it.
Yeah, but I understand that they need something to gatekeep, and this was probably the best thing that they thought about. I just find it the amount of cards that you have is kind of weird because if you put a person that plays that has like a Smurf account, he's gonna probably destroy the other guy. But that's inevitable because all other games allow this. So.
In the initial blog posts from the Moon Days, they said that when people come in, they will still be able to directly challenge in a lobby with all cards. And presumably, I don't think it's presuming. I think it was said also that for tournament rooms, you will also be able to use all the cards. So people who want to jump in and play all the cards, they will still have that chance. I think my counter argument to what you're saying, I mean,
so they're only going to allow you to be like card locked for like competitive ladder.
Yeah, this is specific to the ladder, I believe. If you want to go to a constructed tournament or play with your friends in lobby, you're going to be able to use all the cards. I'm 99% sure this was written in the initial blog posts or said by the devs somewhere else. My counter argument to you is, again, new player experience. If a new player comes in, he doesn't want to get smashed by some guy with a whole collection. And the other second counter argument for me is that at least personally, I unlocked the collection relatively fast playing Hero Draft. So if we want Hero Draft to be like the main initial experience, okay, a lot of people don't like Draft, but I think Hero Draft will be a nice introduction to the game and will allow you to unlock heroes and cards relatively fast. If you want to do it through Constructed, at least you can match to other people with similar card unlocks, which will give you probably a smoother experience in the sense where people just hate to lose to some guy with some ultra rare that kills them.
People just hate to lose.
People just hate to lose. Period. But if they have an excuse, such as this guy played some ultra mythic rare that I could not deal with, that just makes the experience way more miserable.
Yeah, so that's true. The gatekeeping, the card gatekeeping, just makes you. It makes you feel like I lost the skill and I didn't lost because he had like the big cards that I still haven't played enough to have.
It's the excuse of I couldn't have done anything, or it's just basically like it's human nature to find an excuse. That's what happens most of the time. For the most part, in most competitive games, at least, or multiplayer games, it tends to be the high tier players who don't really find an excuse, or you're just playing to really have fun and you don't care that much about whether you win or lose. That's like the other extreme. And for those players, it's irrelevant. They just want to have fun. So win or lose, you just want to have the experience where, well, this was mind blowing, or this was like completely obscene and I loved it. So I personally, I don't have a problem with this. But again, at the end of the day, I think it will depend on how fast you unlock your collection. And I think it's going to be relatively fast. So if the first few games like translate to a good experience, I think players will not mind it and will unlock cards relatively fast, personally.
Yes, but you're thinking on how the beta is working. I mean, you unlock cards really fast because we're playing beta and they want us to unlock cards. We don't know if the XP, the amount of XP that you get to get the boosters and stuff like that will be the same.
Yeah, we don't.
You took 2 weeks, but you might need like 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know. I'm just like talking out of my ass. But it's just you took 2 weeks and you played a lot. Not everyone will be able to play as much as you did.
For sure. I will tell you that I know that the devs were asking people, like asking beta players, how long they thought it should take to unlock the collection. So if nothing else, they asked players directly, like, how long do you think it will take to unlock your collection? And I cannot imagine a player saying, oh, it should take 6 months for me to unlock my collection, because so they probably got the feedback that they should be doing that relatively fast, I imagine.
I think I like this formula. It's, let's say a season, let's call it seasons. Let's say a season is 3 months. When I say season, I'm not talking about matchmaking seasons. I'm talking like an expansion comes out and after 3 months another expansion comes out. I'd say that 1/3 of the time, so 1 month to unlock all the cards of an expansion, and then you have 2 months to play with the cards. But then people go like, oh, but that I shouldn't be locked out like that. I should, like, if I play like 24 hours, I should be able to get all the cards. I don't know. I just have that feeling when you unlock everything super fast, then you just get that little feeling that there's not much else to do.
Mm.
I know this is different because it's a card game and not like, let's say, for example, Destiny that we used to play Destiny.
Yep.
You'd power level to the max level and max light, and then you'd go like, okay, so I've been playing this expansion for like 3 weeks. I've done everything. So now what?
Yep.
I still need to wait 2 months or whatever. So I just feel like gatekeeping kind of sucks a bit, but if it's a healthy gatekeeping, and now people are going to go like, oh yeah, but the players playing against each other to have the cards unlocked is healthy gatekeeping too, blah blah blah, yada yada. So I don't know. I just, if it's a 3 month expansion, like taking around 3 to 4 weeks to be able to unlock everything, feels healthy to me, and doesn't give you like, you know, when you're playing, when you start playing a game and you want to be competitive, but you know you got like a life, you work, you have children, and you're married, and you have to walk the dog and stuff, and real life and adult stuff, and then you see people that all they do is play the game morning to night because they can. Either they're pros or they're just like
or in quarantine,
or in school. And you know, I remember when I was in school, I got home and I put my computer on, and all I did after school was play. So and when you have like a healthy gatekeeping, that even if you just play that amount, you're allowed to unlock as much, as not as fast maybe, but like 80% as fast as the people who play like nonstop. But I don't know. I don't want to start a shit talk on this, because people, I know that a lot of people are like, if I play 20 hours a day, I should be allowed to unlock like 10 times faster than anyone else, because this is my life. All I do is play this, yada yada yada. So yeah, I don't know. For me, I think 1 month or 1/3 of the time that the season or the expansion lifetime is, for me, feels okay.
Yeah, I think Artifact is actually in a very good position to like compete or do relatively well in this department, specifically in comparison to their counterparts, to their competitors. Because let's say that it takes a month, whatever. It will take you a month to unlock the collection. Even I presume personally, because right now what happens in the beta is you just accumulate packs forever. You keep getting packs. Like I have like 100 packs that I cannot open. What I presume is that these packs are going to open into cosmetics. This would be the natural solution to allow people to play the game like 100% free relatively fast, and then still allow for that satisfaction that people love. So that would be the natural transition to me, and being Valve, like I have to imagine the hats is going to be the solution. But the other thing that this game has that nothing else has in comparison is number one, thanks for the follow. Number one, tournament system. Okay, this is complete. Like Artifact 1 has been out for 2 years, and basically the only other card game in existence with a tournament system is Mythgard, which unfortunately hasn't done so well as far as I know. Number two, it's not just a tournament system. God, I was going to make a really good point. I forgot what it was.
God damn it! Don't you hit it when that happens?
Jesus Christ! I think the follow threw me off. So yeah, basically, like tournament system is going to allow people to spend a lot of time in the game. The cosmetics are going to allow. Oh, I remember again. This is something I'm going to keep hammering on like until the end of time. The tournament system is already something that really separates Artifact from the other games. Something that I really, 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 really think this game should have on release is workshop and mods. Imagine if you add mods into this game, dude. It doesn't matter if Valve can only make one expansion per year, because if there are mods, you know, like we all are all concerned, Valve time, how many devs are in the game, how often is Valve going to actually be able to put sets out? Imagine if you have workshop. Not only does the workshop provide you like infinite content, like you can install Dota 2 right now and never play the main game and just have like pretty much infinite content in terms of playing mods. So I think between Draft, Constructed.
Let's just say this. Hey, Valve, remember that mod that now is called Underlords?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, most definitely. And not just that, man. If you want to look back, what is Valve all about? Valve is all about mods. Like CSGO, Dota, these are games that were originally mods. Okay, they have Half-Life and Portals, which are completely original, cool titles. But for the most part, the big money makers in Valve right now are games that were originally things that came out of games that allowed modding. And Valve has a great track record in this. And there is no digital card game in the world where you can make a mod. The one game where you can make mods is Magic, because it's a physical game, and so you can play Magic. You can invent a game mode where you just rip the cards apart. You can do whatever the fuck you want in Magic. So that's like real game modding, if you want. Commander is like a really popular type of game mode in Magic, which was developed by the community, and like they directly sell products made just for Commander. So it's a similar thing that could be translated into Artifact and could, personally, I still think like even if the game itself doesn't do very well, if there's workshop implementation, the people will pour in, because it's just the freedom of creating something new within a card game is, I think, something that could be really special. So I think, my point was between draft, constructed, basic beginner mode, expert mode, campaign, single player, tournament system, grinding for cosmetics, and potentially workshop. I think this game could even if people don't like the expansion, say that the expansion comes out to people who think, wow, this expansion really sucks. Like if it's Magic, you have a bad expansion, you have like 3 months of like bad experience, right? And workshop could change everything. So yeah, I'm optimistic in that regard. I don't think I'm more concerned about the game itself, the public's perception, the new player experience, and whether people stick around or not. And that's actually something that we can jump into right now, because the next point of this post essentially is that finally we're at a point where we're ready to invite the remainder of players who acquired the original Artifact before March 30, 2020 and signed up for the beta. Those invites will be going out shortly. This obviously was posted 3 days ago, and the invites went out immediately. So big news, guys. Basically, this is not open beta yet, but if you owned the original game and you signed up for the beta 2.0, you can still sign up. If you owned the game before March 30 this year, you can still now go to the official Artifact, playartifact.com, sign up, you will get instant access to the beta. So they basically, like you say, they unleashed the Kraken. I'm still very on the fence about this, because this came out Thursday night, so like 3 days ago, and I was going to bed, I jumped off the bed and came here to see how many people were in the game, and we had 500 people in the game, which is amazing. It's like a 500% increase, because we always had 100 people. But it is Sunday night, and I just logged in and I saw like 300 players. And so I'm just hoping.
Sundays are bad days for gaming. Come on.
Yeah,
Sunday is like family day for a lot of people.
But you see, the fucking thing is, we keep making excuses. Like the excuse 2 weeks ago was there is no constructed queue. That was the excuse.
Okay.
This week the excuse is going to be some other fucking shit that people didn't know that they got the beta, and that's fair. There's thousands of people that they don't know they got the beta. But fuck me, man.
That is something very important that we should say, and we should actually talk directly with Tams or whoever we find on the chat inside the game. I remember watching a lot of stuff early in the beta of people saying like, I just looked at my library and it was there. I didn't get an email.
Yeah.
So I don't know how they did this like this time around, but a lot of people maybe have had the game for like some time, and they have no idea.
Yeah.
They should like send an email. If you're giving that account, just send an email.
Let me know.
I bet you that like 1,000 people have no idea that they have the game right now.
Yeah, it's probably more.
They don't read the posts.
Yeah, it's probably more. But remember, you have to sign up for the beta, so it has to be someone that is interested. But just to clarify that, I think what they were doing before was they were sending random waves like sporadically. Like they just like someone went to get a coffee, pressed the release invites button, and invites went out, if you will. And the last month or so, they decided that they would only push the waves out on a Friday. And it's like you say, a lot of people were surprised they had the game, but I've also seen a lot of feedback of people who, after a week of getting the game, if they had not still installed it or logged in, they would get an email. So there is some email notification system where if you don't notice that you got the game, you will get the email afterwards. At least that's my understanding from reading community posts and so on.
Just send an email saying we have open beta for everyone that has the key. Go check it out. There.
They tweet it out, by the way. They tweet it out, which is huge. Like they rarely tweet anything.
Yeah, that is super important because, like you say, they rarely give like tweets and other types of communication that aren't these posts. But for like 80% of the people who played Artifact 1 do not follow their Twitter. So
that I don't know.
If you just send an email, it will be like maybe instead of 500 people, we'd have like 2,000.
Maybe, but I cannot avoid being concerned though, where we keep giving ourselves these if only something like if only this happens, if only that happens, if only whatever happens. Again, don't get me wrong. Like I'm getting constructed queue. It's I've had the opportunity to play a bunch of games, so it's much easier to play constructed games right now. So if you're listening to this, if you don't know, like guys, now you can play constructed. Go knock yourselves out. It's much easier, much more accessible, and it's really great.
You just have to queue.
I'm just really like interested and curious to see what's going to happen this week, and hopefully throughout this week, people will realize that they got into the beta and they will come and try out the game. It's also been the case that a lot of people got inside and they've been providing feedback on Reddit and on Discord and so on. And there's been a lot of mixed feelings going around. People throwing out really optimistic posts, people throwing out really mixed posts like unsure, and people outright saying like this game is worse than 1.0. So we're entering this phase again where like things are in turmoil, like the things are bubbling and things are happening.
So let me guess, like more than half of the posts are people complaining.
I'm not sure I can say that it's more than half, but I would, like, if I had to guesstimate, I would say at least half of them are worried posts. Let's put it like that, worried posts.
So it's just a normal.
I've also seen posts of people like straight up not being well informed or lying about stuff. At least in some details regarding cards and stuff. Like I don't know, some guy was complaining about like how Tide has been broken for weeks and Tide with clear the deck and and that's clearly not true because Tide was changed to have battle damage recently and he was broken with clear the deck, but that was nerfed like literally like 2 or 3 days later. So people are also like way over exaggerating, as often is the case on the internet. It's just the thing is like, guys, if you want to provide feedback, that's very, very welcome, but you have to like be constructive and try to organize your thoughts, and like just saying this is shit is like not helping anyone. Like
that reminds me, like that type of attitude and that type of posting reminds me when you go, let's just say Reddit, because we're already in the shit wagon, so why the fuck not? So let's say that you go onto Reddit and like there's like a post where someone asks about, okay, 1 second.
Hello. Rudely interrupted. This child has no manners.
No manners.
No man. Just goes in, opens the door, leaves, doesn't even close the door. What the hell, man? You need to educate your kids, man.
No more candy. Okay, so like I was saying, let's just say that someone posts asking, for example, is this graphics card really good? And then there's like 1 million guys saying that it's bad because of this, that, this, and that. and I bet you that they don't have a graphic card, never use a graphic card. They just read somewhere because someone else said that.
That's
and
very
that someone
likely.
else probably doesn't have it too. And you just get like a broken telephone of shit talking about it. So that's why I dislike going to Reddit and read a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's fine. Like I absolutely understand not going to Reddit. Like I like to delve into the swamp and check stuff out. So as you go fix whatever your kid is damaging around the house, I'm gonna proceed onto the other post from the 3rd of September. There is a couple of other posts in the meantime, but we're just straight up gonna ignore those. So something else that I think is important to mention is there have been, the Valve has added 6 basic pre-constructed decks comprised of only unlocked tier 0 cards to the deck loader. So if you're looking to play in the queue and you're like, oh my god, I have to play only the cards that I have and I don't have any decks, they've added some pre-constructed decks just to make things easier. They've changed some stuff in terms of UI and in terms of how the ability texts are displayed. We're not going to go into that. What we are going to go into is quickly mention that a gameplay mechanic change has occurred, where now you can only add 2 copies of each item to your deck. Previously, you could
say goodbye to consistency.
So consistency goes down a little bit. You still have a maximum number of 10 in the deck, but you're just going to be seeing that item that you really want slightly less consistently than before. Well, slightly being what? Let me do very quick math. Before you could, depending on the item tier, probably you were seeing the item anywhere between 75% to like 50-60%. Now probably it's going to be everything more around the 50% tier, so it's just going to be a little bit less consistent. Don't take my math for granted there. I'm just doing that off the top of my head.
The good thing is, okay, it's less consistent, but at least we're going to see much more variety when it comes to items and decks. So
well, hopefully, I think that's what they're hoping to see. We will see. There are still obviously items that are consistently more used.
I'm gonna be honest. I feel that, and I'm gonna get a lot of hate because of this, but for me, I think you should only be allowed to have 1 copy, and that was it. Because items, I would only play like 1 copy. It should be like that, because there are certain items that are so good that when you're allowed to put like 2 at the same time on the table, it's like insane. So I think it would make like the deck flavors more interesting. But I know a lot of people are going to say like, no, 3 was okay or 2 is okay. But I kind of think it would be cool if you could only play like 1 copy of each item.
The negative side to that is that if you're looking for a specific effect, maybe only 1 item offers, like Blink Dagger. It's not like you can add a second one that gives you the same type of mobility. And on the other hand, if you want to make like a, I don't know, man. I just did it like a Radiance deck. You want to invent a Radiance deck, and then you can only get 1 Radiance inside. It feels kind of shitty to design a deck where, okay, obviously you can put other items inside. So I understand what you're saying. I do kind of like having some consistency. I don't know what is correct, 40%, 60%, 80%. I don't know. It was very consistent before. And as you know, I was doing my Mjolnir decks and I was getting it. The way that I had it designed, basically, I only had the Mjolnirs up there. So I was seeing it about 75% of the time. So.
With 3, right?
With 3, because the deck, the game adds a random 1 item to that tier where Mjolnir is, so you would have like a 3 out of 4 chance of seeing the item you want.
Yeah.
Which is quite high, like it's really high. But it is also nice when you make a deck for a high, like to reach that tier. It feels really shitty when you don't, like it's like, oh, I've been building to this for 5 rounds, and then it's like,
and now you can't buy it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just interesting, and we'll see how that affects the game. I've been playing a few games, and I don't feel like this is a huge change. But since we lack kind of competitive experience, it's difficult to say.
Well, you went from 33% chance to
It depends on the tier. It depends on the tier.
It depends on the tier because it also gives you random items. And
Exactly.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So the math is not easy. It depends on the tier. It depends how you want to construct because it really depends how you want to construct your deck. But anyway, the more exciting part of this patch, if you will, is new and returning heroes. We have 3 heroes added to the game. One of them, or actually 2 of them, are returning. That's Abaddon and Mazzy. And we have a new hero, Troll Warlord, which secretly was already inside the game, but you had to you had to hack your way into him. But you could play already with Troll Warlord and Viper as well. But now Troll is officially in the game, although you cannot queue with him yet. You can only play him in lobbies. But that's going to be soon resolved, I believe. Anyway, Abaddon comes back. He's a 3/6 green hero. In his ultimate from Dota, Borrowed Time now is an active ability, costs 1 mana, has 3 cooldown, and his signature card is Mist Coil. Now, Borrowed Time, like in Dota, says that if he's dealt damage this round, he heals instead of taking damage down, which is pretty cool. And then he has a weird synergy with his Mist Coil cards, where as in Dota, he deals damage to himself. Now, it doesn't have to be himself, it can be any green hero, but it says it's a spell, costs 2, and deals 3 damage to the caster. The caster cannot die from this spell. Here it's not clear whether it goes down to 1 or exactly what happens, but it cannot die. And it heals another...
You probably stay on 1.
I presume you stay on 1. And then you heal another ally 3 or deal damage to an enemy. So it's another direct damage spell for green, which is really interesting. And it has this unique effect of dealing damage to himself. Now,
it gives you choices. I like cards that give you choices.
I really like that too. The first thing that comes to my mind when I read this card is, please make it be able to target any hero so that you can do this on Bristleback, because it would be cool to see like Bristleback triggering his passive from this and not dying. But yeah, as it is right now, you can only play it on a green hero. Mm-hmm. So I think all in all, it looks interesting. It opens, like you said, like it's something kind of new that we haven't seen before. I haven't had the chance to play around with him. But
why are you saying you can only play it on a green hero?
It says deal 3 damage to the caster, and the caster has to be a green hero. So you cannot cast this from a red hero.
Oh, okay. I was because the way you were saying, I thought like the heal another ally was the part that.
No, well, you can heal another ally, but if you cannot deal 3 damage, this part of the spell you cannot deal to Bristleback. So I was kind of like, I mean, it's just a very niche scenario. I just thought it would have been cool.
Now you can kill Lady Anshu with this.
Oh yeah, that's true. Well, although she does have 4 HP, but if she's lower, you can. Yeah.
If she's lower, you can use this to kill her.
She cannot die though. So no, actually no.
Oh shit! Yeah. Okay. God damn it.
All right. Well, she cannot die from this spell. She can die from other stuff though. So
there goes the combo.
Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't played any of the heroes yet because again they haven't been added to the queue, and there was it's already been fixed. But there was, after this patch, there was a really strange bug where if you opened the lobby to play with someone else, the game would change both of your decks to random decks. So I kept trying to make a lobby game with some friends to play Troll and Mazzy, but the game just kept giving me like random shit deck lists. It's been fixed now; it works fine again, as far as I know. Do you wanna read the Troll Warlord? Or?
You mean the Tower Destroyer?
The Tower Hitter, yeah. Or at least that's what it looks like. Yeah.
Yeah, so Troll Warlord seems like we had some heroes that if you left them alone in a lane, they do a lot of mess, and now we just got a new one. So he's a T6. When he comes into play, he has 0 charges. Every time he attacks something, he gets 1 charge. When he dies, he loses all the charges, and if he changes target of attack, he gets 1 charge. He resets to 1. So the cool thing is at the beginning, like upkeep, he does 1 damage per charge Actually, no, he does one combat damage. To no, god damn it, he does one battle damage to his combat target.
I think everyone understood it.
Yeah, so if there's like nothing in front of him, he's gonna deal 1 damage to the tower. He's gonna get one charge, and then if he's not black and he attacks, he's gonna do like 3 damage to the tower and get another charge. And at the upkeep, if he's not blocked, he's gonna do another 1 damage, and your tower is gonna die. that's how you say
Yeah.
your tower's gonna die.
We haven't played with him yet, but if our math is correct, he goes from 4 damage in the tower the first round onto 7, and then from 7 he goes on to 9, I think. So like if he hits the tower 3 turns in a row, he's doing already a lot of damage. And that's without any buffs or items or anything. So no, not 7 to 9. It should be 7 to. Oh man, the math isn't like straightforward, but I think it goes from 4 to 7. So
if he's not blocked, he gets 2 charges per turn.
Right, yeah, I should have done the math before coming to cast, but whatever, you guys can do math too. Anyway, it feels like this guy has to be a tower hitter, because I don't see how we are going to be hitting like creeps or heroes for a very long time. His spell is actually a very good spell. Battle Trance costs 3. It's basically like Legion Commander's Duel. But what it does, it gives caster the immunity to battle damage and untargetable. So really, like 2 really, really good abilities, and then it battles an adjacent enemy. So it's like Duel, except instead of attacking a hero anywhere in the lane, it battles an adjacent enemy. So you're going to have to position him correctly, but the spell seems like really good. Also, you don't have to use it on Troll. If you want Troll to keep hitting the tower, you probably don't want to use Battle Trance on him. But if you use it on someone else, like an axe or whatever, I don't know. I think there's a lot of potential for this guy to be a great tower hitter. So yeah, I'm starting to feel like there's like a really good red-black tower hitting deck. I mean, there's already a very good the deck that you used to play, the mono black aggro deck. That deck is like one of the best decks in the game, the very aggro mono black. But it starts to feel slightly like there's room for a very aggressive tower hitting red-black deck too. So I'm very interested in. I'm actually quite excited to play all 3 new heroes. Troll, I think, is up there. But I think the last hero is the one that I really, really want to try as well. Mazzy comes back. Mazzy was basically like the armor generator from 1.0. Never saw constructed play, was not good enough. But I think this time around, I think Mazzy's a he. I don't know. I called Mazzy a she before. I'm not sure.
I think I'm not.
Doesn't
sure
matter.
either.
So let's call him a he. Mazzy is a 2/4 red hero with 2 armor, which is already like a really good start. He's got a passive called Gearhead. And he has 3 different signature cards, like similar to Lina. That's Prototype Weapon, Prototype Shield, and Prototype Boots. Now, Gearhead is a passive that says that equipping Mazzy does not require item slots. Again, something completely unique we haven't seen before. So no item slots on Mazzy. Mazzy has +1 attack, +1 armor, and +1 health for each equipped item. Okay, so this already screams like just dump everything that you buy straight onto Mazzy, like don't even look back, because she's going to become a super huge hitting monster. I'm already saying she again. So I think this passive is really exciting. I'm really like this combination of having no item slots, meaning that you can equip as many items as you want, and then every time you do, it gets +1, +1, +1. This makes my inner kid wanna play with Mazzy. And then, as you're going to see, the 3 cards, the 3 prototypes are spells that turn into items. Notice very cool here as well, something that really adds to Mazzy design. The spells are colorless. You're going to be able to play this from any lane, from whatever color hero you're playing. So Prototype Weapon creates or equips Mazer Beam MK 179 that gives +2 attack. Activate for 1 mana, has a 3 cooldown, disarm each unit pointing at equipped hero. So it's similar to Keith's ability where it does stuff if things are pointing at Mazzy or at whatever hero is equipped. The second, I'm not going to go into all the details because we can there's a lot of theorizing about how these things interact, but believe me when I say if you have all three of Mazzy's items equipped, they synergize quite nicely.
So she's like Exodia now, or he is Exodia. I think it's a she, but it doesn't matter.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's a de Exodia deck now. Okay, so when I looked at this hero, the first thing that came to mind to me was the Temple of War.
Yeah.
So where you activate it and you just equip like a basic item on the hero. So it's like you use that, and you're just from having those items, you'll get +3 attack, +3 armor, and +3 HP. It's like there's gonna be a lot of combos with this card.
Yeah, if that works as we think that it works, again, I haven't tested that. I don't know if anyone has.
It has to work. Why wouldn't it?
If it does work, that's completely busted. Because imagine like you're just giving her, it's +2 attack, +1 armor, +3 HP, I think.
That's going to be +3 attack.
Yeah, no, that's just the items. That's just the items.
Yeah, it's going to be insane.
And then it's +1 to everything. So like it's super busted. And you can do that every round. I mean, that's like a lane ending. I presume if you do Temple of War on round 1 and you start equipping Mazzy every round, she probably can hit the Ancient and win the game by herself.
You don't need to equip her every round.
But you can.
But why should you?
If you can.
Okay.
No, you don't have to, of course. But
it's like first turn giving someone +3 attack +4 HP, right?
Yeah.
But no, or +5. How much?
I mean, it's
holy shit.
It's a lot of stats. But basically, if you do that in a lane, you don't even have to do much more work in that lane. So you can just focus on the other lanes and let Mazzy do her thing. So I don't know, man. There's quite a lot of potential. The other items, basically, what they do is they give her some movement and taunting, which synergizes with this disarm ability that I just said.
Yeah,
and then third one deals damage as well. Yeah.
Her spells are all colorless. You can use any of these items. Like
Mazzy is super exciting. Mazzy looks like this is going to be a card that the casual player is going to love, like a card that also the competitive player potentially is really going to like as well, because there's a lot of play to this. And the fact that the signatures are colorless, I think, is like super exciting, because we haven't seen this before. I mean, we have played with colorless spells. There was those units and so, but this is like the first time where we see like actual game impacting ability cards with a colorless cost. So this is, I think, really exciting. Really reminiscing or really reminds me of artifacts in Magic, where it's like these colorless cards that you can play at any time with whatever color mana. So yeah, I think all in all, again, there's more stuff to talk in these patches, but I don't think we want to like make the episode too super long going into the details.
You guys can go and read all about it. We're just stating the points that we feel are like
for sure. I think the take-home message is Valve communicated with us again, and this is super cool. They're working on features. They're working on the new player experience. They just gave us 3 new heroes, and we get a full-blown constructed queue to go grind and play, and and keep giving feedback, because I think that's really what Valve needs to find a direction for the game. Any final words? Anything else you want to say before we take this one home?
Nah, let's wrap it up, because I want to go play Constructed.
All right, so let's wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube, give feedback on Twitter, join our Discord, chat with us, join the official Discord. There's so much to say, so much to play, so much to do. Give feedback. Thanks. Peace. See you guys whenever we record again. Bye.
See you guys.